So friend, we are going to look at single row functions. A function is a named PL or SQL block that performs a specific task, accepts input or what we call parameters. We shall understand what the parameters are, processes it, and returns a single value to the caller. Let's keep it at that. So key points about functions in Oracle. Functions return type. A function must return a value, unlike a procedure which may or may not. That's a distinction. The return type can be a number, a varchar. Varchar means string. A boolean, maybe a picture. It can be all objects in case it's a picture. And parameters, functions can accept in parameters. Unlike procedures, functions cannot have out or in out parameters in SQL contexts. So, friends, I believe we are not understanding this, but it can be understood practically. You understand what the parameters are, why functions can only accept in parameters. Okay? Usage functions can be called inside SQL statements like select, as we are going to see how to use functions. But we have looked at something. We looked at group functions a little bit. I was just introducing you to the software. Looked at how to get the maximum, the average, among others. Can also be used in a statement in which it has the where clause, the order by, and they can also be called inside the SQL blocks. There are two types of functions. We have what we call the single row functions and group functions. We are going to focus on single row functions. Single row functions, what are they? A function in simple terms is a program called upon whenever needed. So in Oracle, there are different functions that are incorporated into the software, and they can be called upon whenever you need them. We use functions to perform different tasks with data. So they can tell you, return all the records in lowercase, uppercase. How can you be able to do that? We want all the emails to be having at gmail.com, at yahoo.com, or anything. So single row functions work on a single row of data. We shall see this as well. They are grouped into two. We have single row functions, which are called character functions. In character functions, we have the upper. Upper means uppercase. Lower means lowercase. Init cap means the first letter is capital, the rest small letters. Init cap is like sentence case. We have the concat. The concat is used to join different strings of words or different string characters. We have the length. They can tell you, they can ask you, how many characters does your name or your first name is having? We have what we call the L pad. We have what we call the R pad. We have what we call the L trim, the R trim, substring, replace, among others. And then there are other single row functions. We have what we call number function. These work on numbers, ABS, flow, seal, round. They can tell you to round off to the nearest, something like that. What is the seal? What does the flow mean? Does a flow mean above or below? you can get a figure that is maybe 20.6, and then they tell you to find the cell or the flow of that number. That is without decimal places. We have null handling functions. Yes, there are people who didn't get commission. How can you replace them with something? They tell you, whoever who didn't get commission, please give them 10% commission. And we have what we call date functions. We have what we call sysdate. We have what we call month between and add month. So we are going to focus today on character functions. In our subsequent sessions to come, we shall look at number functions, null handling functions, and date functions. Date functions, these ones work on dates. Can ask you to get employees who joined between the month of this to this. They can ask you to find those employees who joined today, that is this date. Okay. We are going to look at each of these, the single row functions, or what we call character functions. Character functions. In character functions, we have to call the upper, lower, init cap, concat. We have what we call the length. We have what we call alapad, lpad, ltrim, rtrim, substring, and replace. This is what we are going to look at in this discussion. Okay, so let us start with the upper. What does it do? The upper converts all letters in a string to uppercase or to capital letters in English. So the upper function, it converts all letters in a string to uppercase. For instance, let us run this command. They can tell you these are these are employees' first name and last name. They are in sentence case. Then they want you to return them in uppercase. So you're going to use a function known as upper. The upper converts all letters in a string to uppercase. So how can we be able to do that? We say select first name, comma. Let us first run it and we see what I'm talking about. From employees. From employees. And we run the command. So we want to turn them into uppercase. So that means we are going to use the upper function. And this is a category of character function under single row functions. So single row functions, they work specifically on a certain row. They don't affect other rows like group functions. For group functions, for them to get the total, maybe total salary, total what, or maximum or minimum, they have to calculate all the different rows. So for single row functions like upper, is only going to affect record by record or row by row. So if we incorporate, let's see two things. The worked one, the one where we have evoked. So where we have put in the formula or the function, which is upper. We say select first name upper into first name. We see the difference. After that, we run the command. So the word Jose Manuel, this is the first name and the upper function where it has performed. Please note the upper uses only one parameter. What's a parameter? It is that input that you put in. If I'm to take you some few steps back, we said that functions can accept in parameters. Okay? And we are now appreciating and understanding what a parameters is. A parameter is just that input. Okay? So we say that a function is a named PL or SQL block that performs in a specific task. A specific task, accept inputs, what you put inside the bracket. So a function can have two parameters. It can have one parameter, or it can take three parameters, as we are going to see. So for instance, let's look at other functions and we see how they operate. If you want to change them, let's say, for instance, the first name, Jose Manuel, it is having sentence case, but you want it to be turned into lowercase. Okay? So we can maintain the same formula. We say select first name, upper first. We have worked on that. So now we want to see lower cases. So that means we shall use the word lower. Lower, it converts all letters in a string to lower case. First name, upper, lower, into brackets, first name. After that, we close. This also takes one parameter, all one input. Don't put other things. We shall look at how to put in several inputs into a function in case it's having more than one parameter. So we run to see the difference. This is the original column. This is in upper. This is in lowercase. I think we can look at what we call the init cap. The init cap, it converts the first letter of each word to uppercase and the rest to lower case. That is the init cap. So the init cap function, how does it operate? It works like a sentence case. Comma. Let's look at the init cap. Init cap. It also takes one parameter or one input in two brackets. First name. We see the difference. Sorry. We see the difference. Okay. Comma. I'm just modifying this. Comma. Init cap into brackets. First name. I don't know where I place. Okay. Sorry. I'm pressing a certain button that is disturbing me. Init cap. Init cap into bracket. First name. First name. And we close. It also takes one parameter. Okay. Let me remove one record. Let me remove the original one because we are not able to see the columns clearly. Okay. So this is the upper function. This is the lower function. This is init cap. So let me share all these into the chat room for those who are taking notes to have their own copy as well. We are moving forward to other functions. We have what we call the concact. The concact, it joins two strings together. Let us say that maybe we are interested in the employee's first name, the last name of employees, okay, and also their email addresses, But this is the column for the first name. This is the column for last name. This is for the email. But realistically, do we have any email like this? Some can have at gmail.com. I think that's the common one. Some have at yahoo.com. Some have other extensions. Okay? So you cannot present this. So the concact, it joins two string words. So friends, how can you be able to use the concact? For instance, if we want maybe to have the email address, to have the word at Gmail at the end, we move forward to use the concact. Okay? It takes two parameters. As we are going to see. I think now we are going to distinguish what the parameters are on this, because this takes two parameters or two inputs, or the two things inside. Okay, I don't want to confuse you with IT terms. First name, last name, concact. Concact into, we put two parameters. One is the email that you're interested in, but with an extension of at gmail.com. So since that is a string, we put it into single quotations. Okay, concact at gmail.com. Okay, and then we close it with we close at Gmail with a single quote. So these are the two parameters, the email and at gmail.com. So the concact takes two parameters. So if we run this command, now let me remove one record, maybe the last name, to see it clearly. Okay, all emails initially they didn't have at gmail.com. So now they have it. So that is the work of concact. So the concact, I have said that it takes two parameters. It's the email at gmail.com, that extension that you want. If it is maybe at yahoo.com, you can also put it there. Maybe our emails have yahoo.com. It has changed. But usually the email addresses are in lower case. So they tell you, please want all the email addresses to be in lowercase. What are you going to do? Which single row function or character function are you going to use? So we have looked at the lower. So that means you need to understand that the lower takes a single or one parameter, whereby we say that let's modify this that has concact lower into brackets, and then we close at the end of the statement. We run. So they are now in small letters or lowercase. So this is the formula or the single row function. We have used the concat and we have used the lower. So interestingly, that is what we call the nesting functions. Having two functions in the same query. We have the lower, it's also a function. We have the concat, which is also a function. So the lower has enabled us to put it into single quotes. Sorry, into small letters, all lowercase, the lower function. So I told you that the lower takes one argument or one parameter. So if it is from here, from the second bracket up to this one at the end, up to the second last. So that is it. Okay, moving forward, I told you that the length function, it returns the number of characters in a string. Okay, for those who are noting down, let me share this function with you such that we are on the same pace. But I encourage you, friends, to take screenshots of whatever we are doing such that you are able to move with the team at the same time. I said that the length, they can ask you how many characters are in your name, maybe your first name. You can you have even first think, but you can use a function to do that for you. Okay, so let us see this. For the length, let us say we want to count the characters for each first name. So that means you're going to use a function that is known as length. Length takes also one parameter or one argument or one input, or you put one thing in the bracket. First name. So from employees. Okay, so now we are able to see that the first name of Jose Manuel it's having 11 characters without counting. But if you're good at counting, you can just count. But if you have 10,000 records, that means you need to hire lots of people to do that for you. But the counting, the machine does it much faster and better than you. So I said that the length function takes one input, and that is what we call an argument or a parameter. Okay, moving forward, what is next? We need to look at other functions. We have what we call the LPADs, RPADs. What are they? The LPAD, it is known as the left pad. It adds characters to the left of a string until reaches the specified length. So for LPAD, please note it takes three arguments or three parameters or three inputs. For instance, how many digits does a phone number, a Ugandan phone number, must be having? Are they 13? Are they 11? Are they 10? I think they are 10. For instance, my number is 07 49 something something. They are 10 digits. So we can say that in that field for phone numbers, they must be 10 digits. Okay? So, but you find people whose phone numbers, they are not making up to 10 fields. What are you going to do? We usually see certain information that is having a star somewhere, or a hash, hash, hash. So that means they have used either alpad or or airpad. So the alpad adds characters to the left. The word it is left, it is even bolded. And for alpad, right. Let's see this practically. For instance, we want to know that, or maybe there is a policy that, okay, let's look at the pin codes of Airtel and MTN. Let us say that any pin code must have um, must have 5 digits. By the way, friends, why are we looking at this? For example, if the pin is okay, if someone is getting 7,000, and another person is getting and another person is getting 4,000 Ugandan shillings. Do you know that it is very easy for some mafias in the business to come and add a zero here? This is having 5 digits. This initially was having how many? Let me highlight them such that you are able to see what I'm talking about. Let me highlight what I'm doing such that you're able to understand. Okay, so there are two people in the organization. There are 2 people in the organization. There is a person like me, Robert, is getting 4,000. Another one is getting 700,000. Okay, if we say that the money to be or to be that is given in the organization, it must have how many characters? 5. So this person is having 4 characters or 4 digits. You know that it is very easy for a person to come and edit this. They are going to do like this. They are going to remove this comma and then they add some figures. Okay? At the end of it. It is not easy to identify that information. But if you replace it with something, let us say what is missing, they're supposed to be 5. Or you can even say they're supposed to be 6. That means even this side, you must increase it a bit. Okay? So I think, are they 6? Or, let me see. Are they 6? Let's say it is like that. This is the information that we want all the time. They must be 6 digits. So there are two things. This is 700,000. This is 4,000 still. So there is what we call the R pad and the L pad. So L, like for instance, it has added an hash at the end, 3 hashes here at the end to make it 7 digits, right? So it is being added on which side? That is the right-hand side. And that is what we call the R pad. For the L pad, that means they are going to be this side, those ashes. They are going to be this side. And that is what we call the L pad. It adds characters to the left of a string until it reaches a specified length. So The L pad and the R pad, they take two arguments. Sorry, three arguments, not two. Sorry for that. So how can we use them? Let us say that we are on salaries of people, and the salary must have 10 digits or seven. So salary, let's run it and see. Select first name and salary from employees. There are those who are having four. These are 4 digits. I think most of them have four, some have them five, like they have five. So let's say we want each salary to have 7 digits or 7 characters. Okay, so what shall we do? We can be able to use either Arapad or Airpad. So it's upon us. Select first name. Let me just modify the previous one. So I said that the Arapad, it takes 3 parameters. Select first name, Arapad into salary, okay, comma. We want it to have 7 characters, comma, and where it doesn't reach that maximum, please put there an hash on the right-hand side, okay, is Arapad. So if we are to run the command, sorry, if we are to run the command again, so this is a character, it must be in single quotation. Please note that. Are you seeing what I'm talking about? If we are to have a certain comparison, let me put a comparison somewhere to see the before and the after. Okay, this is the business. That is the R pad, and that's what it does. And the reverse is true on L pad. You just put L and then you run. They have just changed. Okay, let me share these queries into the chat room such that for those who are noting down, they are also able to be on the same pace with us. Okay, I think we've exhausted the R pad and L pad. So now let us look at what we call the L trim and R trim. It's almost the same, but here we are trimming. To trim it is to cut or to chop. So L trim removes characters from the left of a string by default. Remove spaces unless you specify characters. So R trim, it removes characters from the right of a string. Okay. So you can just come here. Let's just modify this. Let us first look at the R trim. I said maybe we want to cut. We want to cut. We want to cut the last 2 digits. The last 2 digits of the first name, or the last 2 characters in the first name. Can say R trim first name remove the last 2 from employees, and after that we run the query. So that is R trim. Let me first remove the salary. I want to show you something. Let's see this. Is there any difference? So who can give us a reason as to why it has not changed? Who can give us a reason? Hello, I'm just checking in. You know, people can log on and do something different. Hello.
We are on.
Okay. Why hasn't that changed? Anyone? Derek, don't accept to be defeated. Mavis, don't accept. Okay. I think Brenda Aliho is is an expert here. There is no specification. I think she can even try out. There is no specification uh, with uh, with which characters to remove. Okay, Brenda, can you give us if we want to remove the last two digits, can you give us that command? You can unmute yourself. Hello? Okay. I think yes, she has given us. Let me see. Can't give the full query right now, but you could use the percentage operator. Uh, okay. Any other person? Any other person to try out? Okay. I think I can leave that for you to try out. I can leave the arrow trim. Maybe you can look at the last part. Since we are all quiet, but we want to thank that person who has tried. What is next? We can look at the subtree or the replace. So the subtree, it takes three, three parameters. The replace, in case maybe you want, let's look at at a word occurrences, and if we want it to, maybe if you want the third letter, whenever there is a third letter into the first name or this word, put a percentage. Okay, put a percentage. So that is a replace. So for subtree, it removes a certain part. extracts a part of a string starting at a specific position. So you must specify a position, maybe the first or maybe the second, but the position has to be there. It can take either two parameters or three parameters. You must specify the position, and it replaces a substring with another string. If it is the word replace, where there is E, you can put that symbol, an hash. Friends, I think we have taken much time. We can stop there. In the meantime, we shall continue from there next time. Shall look at other character functions. We shall have a demonstration on what we have not looked at in our subsequent sessions to come. We don't want to teach a lot of things and you forget them at the same time, unless there's a question before we close the session. Is there any question?